This week, we're meeting together with Christian Fenk, who is currently employed at Robominds in Germany. Christian Fenk and I had the pleasure of working together at Universal Robots this past year. He was the UR Plus ecosystem manager, basically my counterpart for Europe.
Yeah, so with Christian on, we talked a little bit about his history, looking at him coming from completely outside the automation world and being a sports marketer, an insurance salesperson, and sort of building it all together to finding a career in robotics and finding himself as a senior level position. So we interview him to get his feelings on what it takes to manage a team now, what he wakes up feeling and how he needs to execute on a given day, as well as what he believes the future is going to from a robotics standpoint, and a little bit of some funny stories along the way. So we can't thank you enough for listening to our podcast. So I hope you guys are excited for it.
Welcome to the Robot Thought Leaders Podcast with Zach Tompkinson and Chris Savoya, bringing you in-depth interviews with industry experts driving change in the robot world.
But a good story is, I think the first time I met Fink was in the North Pole.
Yes, sir.
So that's actually probably a funny story to start with. And then, we can then talk about how you got yourself there from, a success standpoint.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Christian was also a President's Club member.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Right here, actually. President's Club, there we are.
Yes, of course.
Might be able to see us. See if I can find a good photo of him in here. I haven't opened this thing up in a while. But yeah, we went and saw reindeer up in Tromsø, Norway.
Fun story about that. First of all, they carried us around, and afterwards it was a beautiful reindeer soup. So for the slowest one, it was not this was not a happy end.
You got some the Northern Lights.
Yeah, look at
there
you,
he is, right there. Nice.
I'm sure she was happy to go with you.
Yeah, but beautiful fine, and she have had some real stomach issues, so therefore I've learned the Norwegian vocab for if everything went through your body way faster than normal.
Uh-oh,
so I saw myself in a drugstore trying to translate it.
Was it the reindeer soup?
Nope. I guess it was the raw fish the day before.
Yeah.
Well, we ate whale and a lot of reindeer. I think we had reindeer every meal.
Reindeer in every condition: smoked, raw, grilled, bacon. A lot of salmon was tasty. King's crab.
So there's Tromsø, beautiful area. It's in the Arctic Circle. Check it out. It's a pretty cool spot. Back on the shelf.
Cool.
But so, that's where we got to meet for the first time. And I think from there, I just was like, this guy, he's a fun-loving German. And, we kind of hit it off from there and became friends since. And then you guys obviously became even better friends because of your time at UR Plus. You interacted, daily or weekly, if not daily. So, it's pretty cool to have friends, completely across the world.
But this is all about the job. And this is what I really like about the job. Having relationships all around the globe, different cultures, different people, different mindsets. Not always easy. Not always easy, but always great. And there's a lot of friction, but friction at the end of the day is energy. And I guess Mr. Savoy know exactly what it means when I call it friction.
And I have to give you credit, Christian, because I don't think you ever gave me an opportunity to not be your friend. The very first day, I think before anyone asked you to reach out, you were calling me, probably called me on WhatsApp 3 times that first day. And you got me on the phone and fast friends, right? Before there was any opportunity to be otherwise. So it was good. And, I looked up to you a lot and I still do. Of course, you were a mentor to me in that time. coming from a sales role, and then previous to that, I was in sales for a year, right? So I was an engineer for a lot of my career. I came in and I learned so much from you about how to work with these partners on a strategic level, because it's not just all about the sales or all about the marketing. It's really about the strategy for their product and for their company, and learning to become an advisor to these kind of people. So you really took me under your wing, and I appreciate that quite a bit.
Then now I am getting red. It's not
It's not the
something I
beer?
really like. Compliments are things I really don't like.
It's not the beer?
Well, I'll make it easy for you then. I have a quick question from how many partners did you sign on? We'll get away from the praising.
Oh, how many partners did I sign on in terms of your plus, or in
Yep.
terms of in terms of your plus? I guess.
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
I think because I think we can go there, and then we can go backwards for a second too after that.
Yeah.
So when I left the company, I have had 230 active partner companies, roughly.
Wow.
In whole EMEA. Should be
Yeah.
230, maybe 220, roughly this way around.
Now, which one's your favorite?
There is no favorite. No. Honestly speaking, there is no favorite.
He's there now, right?
No. The cool thing about the topic was there was no contract. So everyone who was doing something did it because he was willing to do something. There was always a positive motivation. There was always this momentum. It was not you're forced to do something. You're forced to do this and this and this and this. It was always, hey, this is a cool topic. I like the idea. I like the ecosystem. Let's do something common together. So it was always a special motivation. And so out of this 230 partner companies, I guess with 230 we have had a great relationship, and that's unique and that's pretty cool. So there is not this favorite partner company. It's just super cool to have an ecosystem.
Yeah. I think you told me a story once, and it might have been about Shunk, where when you sell to a company, typically you have to like kind of push down the door to come in, and you have to bang on the door, and you're kind of there, and they're like, okay, yeah, we'll talk to you, I guess, but when you're there for UR Plus, it's like they take you into your family. I think you were saying you were at Shunk and they were taking you into the cafeteria, they were chatting with you, or they were treating you as if you were an employee or a brother. And it's just a very different mentality, I think, when you kind of have that consultant or advisor type of relationship with people, right?
It wasn't only Shunk. So yes, of course, with Shunk, in regards of UR Plus, we have had a great relationship, and we had visited Shunk really often. But at the end of the day, there had been 20 companies, 30 companies. We have had meetings on almost a weekly base, almost on a monthly base. And with many of them, you become part of the team, you become part of the development team. And it was not guiding them. It was just being part of a team. You got strength points, you got weak points, and work together. And at the end of the day, the result was most of the time pretty cool and great. And this was the beauty of it. And this was the secret of success, teamwork. And that's the cool stuff about UR Plus.
Mm-hmm. What was there any notable time where, and you don't have to necessarily name the names, but was there a time where you felt like this will never work with UR Plus, and you were like, there's no way these people are ever going to be able to figure it out, and then they surprised you when they were able to come through?
That happened quite often in a positive way and in a negative way. So in a negative way, it was quite often that most of the time, if you talk to a startup company, they have had this beautiful business plan, and the business plan was usually you are sold 40,000, 50,000 robots. If only 1% of the robots will use my product, it's hey, 1 out of 100. We can make it happen. Then I become a millionaire next week. And most of the time, surprise, surprise, it didn't work that way. So this was the downside. But there have been a few cool products where I was in the first step not able to get the idea, to get the story, the topic behind. Mm-hmm. And after a while and deep dive into technology and deep dive into strategy, I got it. And the moment I got it, I know, okay, now I'm able to help them to sell it. And then usually it was actually not that bad. So of course, there are a few products out there which are, in my opinion, underrated, which should be way more successful than they are at the moment. But I guess it's a matter of time. And
what are those? Can you name a couple of them that come to mind?
Yeah,
you
I guess that's not fair against the other
No,
ones.
no. I mean, I just think from an underrated standpoint. I mean, the one. I mean, there are many that are overrated, and there are many that are overrated. That's not what I mean. I mean that there are many that are very prominent, that are heavily used, and they get a lot of publicity. And I think we don't have to name those necessarily, but are there a few that you think that don't get a lot of publicity that should be getting more?
So usually the smaller companies have great ideas in mind, have a great approach in mind, and usually they come across with a mind-blowing solution. But what they are lacking and what they are missing is first of all knowledge, and second of all a network. And due to this given fact, usually the small companies have super cool ideas, have amazing pricing. So it's beautiful
So
to the
is
customer as well, but no one know them, and that's usually the biggest issue.
So is that one of the reasons why you left, was because you really felt that the vision of Robominds was something that could be much bigger as well?
Oh, what a tricky question.
That
Uh, why,
is a
why,
good
why did I left? Why did I left a company called Universal Robots? It it didn't feel like that I left the company. I've changed my role and position. Yes, I know Robominds for 3.5 years now. I know Toby and Andy, and both of them are unique. And I highly believe that both of them are these 1 in a million persons because they are different in mind. So they're really brilliant. And I believe in the product and the strategy. And we discussed this topic. Should I do this step for, I guess, now more than 2 years? And the timing was perfect. I finished most of the projects at UR. The timing was perfect. The situation was there. So yeah, therefore I've changed. I've
Sure.
changed, but I'm still part of the ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that's actually true in some literal senses too, because I still see Christian Fenk's name actively popping up all the time in different platforms that we use within Universal Robots. One good example is the platform that Christian Fenk spearheaded more than anyone else at this company was a platform called SMARP, or is a platform called SMARP. SMARP is interesting because it allows people to log in with their personal LinkedIn accounts and to share stories organically, right? Because a lot of times when you have a LinkedIn campaign, you send an email out to everyone and say, can you share this, right? But then they have to draft the post up themselves. All the content's different, messaging can be different. SMARP allows you to pre-draft these posts and send it out to people. Christian Fenk was a big proprietor of it, and it's in fact a great way to publicize your Plus products when we launch them, because it allows other people who are influencers in the company to put it out there. And funny enough, Christian Fenk is still the #2 ranked person in Universal.
Number one, my friend. Again, number one. So
I think
they
Sebastian
deleted
got
my
you.
UR account. Now I got a UR Plus account, and again, number one.
Okay, still the #1 ranked in Universal Robots for using SMART. So he still is able to go on, share posts with us, and he
Is
provides
that
a
an easy thing that any company can utilize? It's, whether that's I mean, obviously it needs to be you're saying that this allows you to create more content, easily distribute more content that can be not necessarily mass produced, but you can tweak it to make it your own and then reuse it. I've used SMARP a little bit, but just for the listeners out there, like, could this be applicable to, say, a company that has a geographical coverage and has a story that they want to reshare and sell, for whatever product line it may be, for them to redistribute from a distributor standpoint, or does it really need to be like a manufacturer?
No, yeah, I think it would work well with a distributor as well. And Christian, please weigh in. But I mean, it's anyone who wants to have influencers, right?
It is a powerful tool for each and everyone who has a network, and it's a powerful tool for each and everyone who's willing to work closer with the network. Because at the end of the day, SMARP is a community inside the community, so you can create content, you can approve the content, so therefore it's more aligned, more company aligned, because there's someone give the approval. And it's easier for the users, because if I would create a posting on my own, I need to think about the content, the link, the texting, and all the topics. Is the spelling right? Is everything okay? In regards of SMART, it takes me 2 seconds, and I just scroll down many different postings. I can choose the one which fits in the very best in my personal way. I can adjust the texting. Does it really fit for me? Does it really fit for my community? Does it really fit for my network? And then I push share. I can even schedule postings, so I can plan my whole week. Yeah, and then do it once. Costs me 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then the whole week is planned and perfectly fine. And that's the beauty of it. So everyone with every company with a network with some active people on social media can use it and should use it.
Did you find Smart? Did you introduce it at Universal Robots, or was it there when you came?
It was there when it was there. It was there. It was a happy accident that I get access to Smart, and I thought, okay, what a cool topic. So let's use it for Your Plus, and then step by step things developed.
Is it, so it's not just LinkedIn based there, it has other social media as well. So it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm assuming there maybe there's others, but are those the primary ones that you utilize? Cool.
Yes. And of course the famous German version of LinkedIn Xing. You can use it in Xing as well. So that's pretty cool.
Very cool. So that,
Tell us more about that. I don't know much about that social network. That's in Germany. It's very popular for professional networking.
No, it is not. It was very popular and very big in Germany, but then LinkedIn took over everything, and now LinkedIn is now ahead. Let's call it this way around.
Interesting. Sounds kind of similar in the name in a German way.
So getting back to one of the topics that we had earlier, I want to hear about how you came to find yourself in the Arctic Circle with Zach, you know, when you guys both were selected for the President's Club. Can you tell us the story of, you know, that year, maybe running up before that, and the challenges that you faced, and how you obviously performed well?
Yep.
But honestly speaking, I have no clue how this happened. So it was I've started at UR, but I become responsible for Bavaria and Austria. Back these days, now almost 4 years ago, the company UR was not that big. So you had been responsible for this territory, Austria and Bavaria. Yes, of course, there had been a team in Western Europe. Yes, of course, there had been a lot of support, and without the support of the colleagues, nothing was possible. But at least I did my very best. I tried to be very close to my partners. I tried to support my partners at the very best. And lucky me, the partners performed well. Lucky me, we hit our target and we overachieved in Bavaria quite a bit. In Austria, quite a lot. I guess it was the growth rate was not that bad. Let's call it this way around. And on the sales kickoff in Denmark, it was the first international UR sales kickoff for me. So I was pretty nervous. On the day after, there was this President's Club award. And I was the last one who was announced, and I was pretty confused. And I thought, "Holy shit, that's my name! What happened over there?" And we had been on stage, and there was this golden lametta, and they gave us the prize. And I thought, no, what happened over here? But I was pretty proud. So I gave my wife the call, and we will not believe what happened. I won the President's Club, and she told me, "What is the President's Club?" I have no clue, but lucky winner, and that's pretty cool. And the week after, I realized, thanks to a few emails, that we won a prize, even a lovely travel to beautiful Tromsø, Norway, where I met a few colleagues. I'm still in touch. So, for example, Early Ewing was the winner of the President's Club as well. Zach, of course, was winner of the President's Club as well. Charles Wu was winner of the President's Club. X Lee was winner of the President's Club, and with most of them still in touch. And it was pretty unique. See the Northern Lights was pretty unique, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and Zach had the opportunity to learn how fun you can be when people are on a work trip with you, I'm sure.
It was a cool town.
Made some experience as well.
It was such a cool town, you know, and it was, you know, when you're up there, you don't realize how cold it can be. I mean, I think you think about how cold it can be, of course, but that there are 70,000 inhabitants in that city in Tromsø, Norway. And I thought the coolest thing was the culture. And I think just to be in the culture together as a group of, you know, small group of people too, because I think there were 6 participants or 6 people selected for President's Club that year. And we went, and Jürgen was there, as well as Chris Wilson and Klaus. And so we had quite the crew of people, but it was pretty tiny. And just to be in this really tight knit community in Tromsø, where the people there, I think that, you know, tourism might be one of their biggest parts of their GDP, but it really, you didn't feel like you were just one of the numbers. Everyone there was so friendly, and the weather during the day when it was so hot, I thought the coolest thing was the heat would hit, and they had to have special windows so that it wouldn't burn, because you're so close to the sun, and you're just that much closer, and maybe it's the ozone layer is thinner, but I don't know why, but the sun intensity is so hot when it's 30 degrees out, or, when it's basically freezing, you can be outside and almost take your coat off because the heat is so hot from the sun, and it will penetrate through windows and actually burn curtains.
Wow.
And then at night, obviously it's super cold, but the temperature change isn't that crazy. It's just the sunlight that comes in. So just a small fact on Tromsø, just a great city. But yeah, an amazing time, and getting to know Christian during that time was, the relationships that you get to build on trips like that are, once in a lifetime. So I was just thinking back to, those, like, getting nominated as well, Christian, and that, like, all the kickoffs that we've had, and you think of the different kickoffs that we've done in Copenhagen, and it's just been it was such a cool experience each year to go over there for our sales kickoffs and be together as a sales team.
But I guess the most important or the most impressive one was it was super personal. So the moment you stepped out the plane and you arrived at Tromsø airport, it was different. It was super personal. It was just a group of people with the same idea, with the same reason why we are here, with the same idea, with the same goal, and it was super cool. So it was just very personal, and that's something I remember, and that's something which helped me over the time. Because of course on a daily basis you are in touch with the colleagues as well, and it is different. You know them some sort of. So I guess if you see someone at breakfast after a rough night in the hotel bar, you really know them. That's something.
Or after you've gone to bed 1 hour previously to that, you see them down at breakfast. Yeah.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
That's something pretty cool.
Well, I'm glad you two had so much fun there. I wish I had made it into President's Club, but I don't think I allowed myself enough time at sales for that. But getting back to that year running up to it, I do want to ask you some more questions. The first ones I'm going to ask you, please tell me if you can't answer this, but I'm going to try and ask it in the way that you might be able to answer it. So obviously you had some budget that year. You were a sales manager. You were managing X number of partners, which I kind of want to know how your channel was set up in that area, because I think that's very interesting to a lot of people that listen to this. And I want to know what kind of budget were you carrying. You can or you cannot decide to share numbers. It's up to you. But I want to know how much you exceeded that budget by, and what were some of the strategies that either you or your very good partners decided to employ in order to meet or exceed those goals.
Thanks a lot again for this tricky question.
You had a budget, right?
And yes, of course we have had a budget. There's always a budget. If you're working sales, there's always a budget nearby. That's normal. I guess the main reason why we hit the nail and we overachieved the budget was it was a team. I have been super close to my partners. So at some of them I have had my own desk, and I have been with them, on a daily basis. There was no day without communication with the partners. So we had been super close together. They have known exactly what is the next step from our end, from your back these days, and have known exactly what is on their end the next step. And they have had a lot of cool ideas, marketing campaigns, for example, to speed up sales, discussions, should we hire another sales rep, yes or no, was a team decision. So it was always coming together and always very close, and therefore I'm very thankful. And this was at the end of the day secret of success. So it was not me, the superstar in the region, who was driving the region to success. It was the whole team. At the end of the day, we had been 2 distributors and 6 integrators.
2 distributors and 6 integrators.
It wasn't always that easy, because there's always.
Who were the distributors at that time?
Don't get it.
Who were your distributors in the mix then? Jürgen and Kinston.
Yes, in Bavaria we have a very strong one, Jürgen and Künstner.
Yep.
Still super successful. And in Austria it was not clear in that moment, so therefore we have had to change. So we have had depending, everyone is a distributor, everyone is an integrator, so it was some sort of a change inside the market. But at the end of the day, it was team, and only team. And I guess the beauty of success was that we somehow made it happen that the people start communicating to each other. So even the integrator network and the distributor network shared success stories and work together. And whenever you have the chance to build up a team, you should build up a team. Usually you're strong if you're on a team.
For our listeners, what is the model for Jürgen and Kinsner? Do they work primarily through integrators? Do they do it all themselves? how have they found success with ramping these sales into these hundreds of robots a year?
So I guess it's nothing that Jürgen and Künstner have exclusive. I guess it's a common topic, and there are many distributors out there which have this secret of success. First of all, it's focus. They are heavily focused on the products they sell. Second of all, they have smart salespeople, which are not just salespeople, which are salespeople which have a technical knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So
They own
you
it.
can call the sales reps in the middle of the night, ask them some deep technical questions, and they will answer.
Mm.
And the next topic is, especially for this case, they are in business for a long time. So they are well known in the field, well known in the market, and they have a big database they can work with. And if you are focused and if you have smart, well-educated salespeople, well-educated, then usually you become successful if you have a strong product as well.
I think that's something that I want to ask a little more on, because I think I've worked with about 40 distributors now, and the educational standpoint, when you're saying a well-educated distributor, are you saying that these people know the product ultimately even better than a lot of the people within the manufacturer themselves?
More experience in
Manufacturer being
regards of
you
programming.
are in this instance.
Especially when it comes to real application programming. Yes, of course, because it's the
Real
daily
deployment,
business.
real solution providing, what may occur if you run into this error, a real practical experience, almost a mastery of usage with the robot.
There's a big difference if you design a product and if you make commercial activities for a product, and if you try to sell a product and it's only in theory. In theory, it's great for machine tending, but yeah, if you do not have the dirty topics, that for example the cooling liquid or whatever, and you have no clue about the interface to the CNC machine, yeah, congratulations, try to sell a robot into machine tending. If you are familiar with these topics, if you know the interfaces, if you know how to program even the CNC machine, then it's way better to sell. And if you imagine a small and medium-sized enterprise, a turning and milling company with 10 employees, and the sales rep came across, knows exactly, okay, this type of machine, this type of parts, rather use this type of gripper. I can help you to program. I can help you to program to open the door of your machine as well.
Yeah. How do they take that and make it digestible for a new salesperson or somebody that, I'm sure they have their own turnover at the company. Not every salesperson is the same every time, but they are able to take the knowledge they've learned and proliferate it to the new individual and make them as skilled quicker than, say, a brand new distributor, even with, maybe more historical knowledge of automation. But when it comes to, say, the UR product line, how do they actually take it and make somebody good at the product?
Training, and at the very best, training not in a training room, training with the customer. So put him into a car with a well-experienced sales rep and let him learn, and then training, and once more training. And if you think you have enough training, then you rather do it once more.
So they have a pretty regimented documented training program.
At the very best, they learn from doing, or in this case, they learn from doing. So just share knowledge. So life is too short to make every mistake on your own. So you learn from someone who already knows it.
True. Very true.
But that also comes from product dedication too, right? So they have, what % of their salespeople time is put on the product?
Yeah, but therefore the territory, Western Europe, is super strong in education as well. So they're very, very strong supporters, which are very familiar with the product, which are very familiar with all the safety topics around.
Sure.
And therefore the training concept from Western Europe was always inside the whole company, always minimum one step ahead.
Sure.
And therefore there are a lot of super strong partners out there which got amazing knowledge and experience about the product.
But what makes a great partner different from, maybe an average partner?
Once more, again, the topic is called focus. So if you have 10 different products in your portfolio, at the very best, if you have 2 different cobots, 5 different classic robots, and 5 HEVs in your portfolio, if you are focused on one product, And if this is the only way how to sell something, is this product, then you're forced to become successful. And there are many good partners out there with many different products. But at the end of the day, you have 24 hours a day. If you spend 24 hours a day at focusing one product, usually you become more successful if you split this time into 5 different products.
Yeah. So it's training and focus, and yeah, that makes
We
sense.
have a local salesperson here who runs Connecticut named Christian Gerving, and he came up and Zach and I put on a sales training last year for a lot of the channel people and some new hires at Universal Robots. He had a very similar ethos, for working. His was be the master, which is very much, it sounds similar to what you're talking about, right? Where he's a salesperson, but he's also a degreed engineer. And when his clients call him, they trust him to get the problem done, right? He's at least going to give it his best shot to solve it on the phone. And then he's going to pick up his phone and call someone else to find out right away if he doesn't know that answer for whatever reason. And his rationale was, if you're going to sell an easy to use product, you better be good at using it, because it's pretty hard to sell an easy to use product if you can't even use it yourself.
Exactly.
Yep. Exactly. He's
Exactly.
sold about 400 URs so far too. So I think he's
It's actually not that bad.
He's
It's actually not that bad.
Yeah, by himself, not his company's done, I think, close to 1,000 now. So Access New England has certainly sold quite a bit.
That's impressive. That's really impressive.
Well, cool. I think that I'd love to pick your brain more on this topic, but just for the sake of time, I think we should skip ahead a bit, or even back. I don't know, Chris, if you want to go into how you even got involved in UR in the first place. And I know you had some questions there for Christian.
Having worked with Christian for what felt like years, but really it was actually only like 8 months. He talked a lot about his past, which is how he came from a background in marketing. And Christian, you talked about how that really helped you a lot of times with UR Plus, and that's kind of what you like to return to sometimes, was the marketing. So I wanted to hear more about that initial experience you had. Looks like Zach dropped out there for a second. Zach, did we lose you?
Nope.
Oh, you're back. Can you tell us more about your experience before Universal Robots? What were you doing in your career? How did you decide to get into robots? Were you already doing automation? And what led to your first day at UR?
So yes, of course. So first of all, my personal career, but I do not like the word career. I rather use the word path. So my personal path was not, let's call it normal. So I didn't study something. I've just learned something. So my father got a small turning and milling company. So yes, of course, it was obvious that I become turning and milling guy. And I believe in talent, and I believe in attitude, or in attitude. And I was willing to become turning and milling guy, but I was lacking in talent. That was obvious. So I can program a CNC machine, but I'm not good at it. So I'm really not good at it. So therefore, I'm really lacking of talent. And
what about a manual machine? Can you use a Bridgeport or something like that?
We rather work with Gildemeister over here in Europe, as well as Weiler, as well as Hurko. Hurko, you should know, it's American,
Yeah,
I guess.
of course, yeah.
Yes, and a Haas machine. I have had a Haas milling machine as well. So I can program. I can program still some of them, but once more, I'm not good at. So if you have passion, if you really work it out, you can bring it to a level. But without talent, you will stay at that level. And that level was not good enough. So it was obvious that I need to go. Or I need to change something. And I thought, okay, let's try sales. Sales could work out for me. And honestly speaking, the only company which was willing to give me a contract was an insurance company. So I started to sell insurance, because if you're bad turning and milling guy, and so now let's change the world and start in sales, it usually not turn out that well. But the good thing in this insurance company, I've learned the things, the tools you need in sales. They have had a real good training. And after a while, I've changed my topic. I've seen I received an offering from a startup company in sports marketing. It was the Avando company, and it was a 100% pure online marketing company. And the product was sports sponsoring. And I thought, okay, no, why not? Marketing, cool, online. Why not? Let's do it. And I tried it out, and I really worked my ass off in this company. And it was a super cool team. But the story of the company didn't work out that well. So I guess meanwhile you cannot find the company anymore. So it was not a long-term success story. Let's call it this way around. And then I thought, okay, now I know turning and milling. I have some experience in sales. I know a little marketing. So now it's time for me to start with the real topic. And I become, I asked for jobs. And I have had two offerings. One offering was a junior sales rep for Northern Bavaria, and the other offering was area sales manager for whole Bavaria. So guess 2 times which ones did I choose? And I choose, of course, the area sales manager for whole Bavaria.
Yeah.
Got the bigger company car as well, and it had been industrial ovens. And I made this for 3 years. I was not that unsuccessful, and it was a reseller. It was a distributor, and there was a manufacturer. I've stolen him some pitches. Was pretty cool, and he offered me a job as well. And the downside of this job was I need to relocate myself from Munich in the Black Forest. It's another part of Germany. Back these days, I was already married. I already have had a kid, and I asked my wife, okay, should we go for this step? Could be an interesting job, cool company, bigger products, and let's try. And she said, yes, okay, we try, but you need to promise me one word, you quit your job and we go back home to Bavaria. I said, okay, that's a deal, let's do it. And I worked in a company called Reinhardt for 3.5 years. I started as a sales guy for standard ovens, and then step by step, thanks to a great guy who really taught me a lot and drilled me a lot, I become more responsible. I took over the marketing department, the standard ovens. Then I was for a short period responsible for service as well. And then step by step, I've grown. My career was getting more responsible.
The whole time was your father asking you to come home and continue to?
No, because he knows I'm really bad at turning and milling. So
he said, no, "I'm happy. Go find your own way."
Find your own way, yes, of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, at a certain point, my wife told me, okay, now for me, it's time to go back home. And if you want, you can join me. And I thought, okay, let's make a list. Job. No, just kidding. It was obvious. My wife called me, okay, now let's go home. And I quit my job. And there I was with no job and the big dream to go back home to Bavaria. And I was searching for a job. And then I met Helmut from Universal Robots on the Motec fair in Stuttgart. And honest speaking, at the very first meeting, I didn't get the idea of Universal Robots. I didn't get it. And the former days, we sold big industrial ovens, big machines, big lines, up to 800 square meters, more than 1 million, more than 2 million. It was just heavy, big machines. And suddenly, the small robot arms you can drive around in your trunk.
Yeah.
It made no sense to me. That just made no sense to me. And it took a while. And I asked a lot of partners and a lot of other companies, and all of them have known Universal Robots. And I thought, okay, if all of them say that's a smart product, but just me saying that's stupid, then maybe it's me who is wrong. And I did my homework, and I gave Helmut a call and told him, okay, now it's time for the second job interview because now I got it. And he told me, usually it's not this way around. Usually I invite people. I said, no. Second call, because now I got it. I prepared myself with a small presentation and I did my homework, and yeah, lucky me, I got the job.
Yeah.
And then it was step by step. After I guess 9 months, I was promoted from business development manager to channel development manager for Western Europe. Main focus the partner network. Then I met Anders Rasmussen on the Hanover Fair, so the very first guy from Europlus. Great person, by the way, and a big mentor. And yeah, then I changed my role inside the company once more. And after a while, I become responsible for EMEA and Europlus. And I'm not sure about the numbers, so early should approve it. But I guess when I started Europlus, it should be roughly around 50 products online. When I left the company, it should be roughly around 250 products online.
And we're at 310 today.
Sorry, how many?
310 today.
Then you accelerated a lot, but I guess at the end of the day, maybe 100, 120 could be possible. Should be out of my territory, out through my table. So that's quite a lot, and therefore I'm super proud. I'm super proud.
Yeah, for sure. It's incredible the amount of innovative products that are coming out of that region of Europe. And really Europe in general. I think Europe makes well over half of the Europlus ecosystem for us right now. there's a ton of very smart people working on really challenging problems and putting them into, products, not just trying to solve them once, but trying to solve them for everyone.
If you drill down Europe, you have two big topics. On the one end, you have Germany, due to the fact of the size. It's not a small nation, and there are a lot of engineers out there.
Mhm.
And the other big market, which is almost the same size in regard of your plus products, is Denmark, because there's something special in Denmark. So there are
There's
so many
clearly
startups
something
there.
special from
Yes.
the robotics hub that is Denmark, and especially around southern Denmark, and the university. Um, I think it's an interesting segue here to go into, from you're talking a little bit about where the hubs are in Europe, and there's a few out of the US as well. But where do you see things heading from a technology standpoint over the next couple of years? And you can even go as far as 10 years out, if that makes sense. But I want to expand this conversation, because usually we ask this question, and Chris and I ask this question as like the last question to people, but I'd like to spend a bit of time on it, because I think you have such a great mindset on what's changing in the market, whether you're an end customer, a distributor, an integrator. What's changing for those people? What's changing for, say, a UR Plus product, and what's going to be needed, from a robot standpoint, and then also ultimately what's also needed from an automation standpoint as we look out into the next 5 years, let's say. And you can start as short as you want or as long as you want, and go with whatever way you so please.
So therefore, the question, first of all, sounds pretty tricky, but at the end of all, it's super simple. So I highly believe the biggest change we will see is things will get more easy. Everything is going to be more easy, less complicated. And due to the fact that it becomes more easy, you will reach a bigger market, first of all. And second of all, the product and the customer becomes more independent. So if you have a sticky product, if you have a complicated sticky product, if you solve a complex topic with a complex solution, it becomes automatically a sticky product. Great for the sales guy, the customer have no chance to change something. Bad for the customer, and at the end of the day, the customer wins. So in my opinion, the whole development is going to be in the direction that everything become more easy. More information to the internet, bigger and better organized communities to help each other. And of course, in regards of an integration, in regards of change something, in regards of even the safety regulation and on all the topics around, everything is going to be more easy. So I see the biggest developments, the biggest changes in, make it simple.
I heard a lot there. So there was community that you were talking about, people being able to collaborate online. There was safety, which is, still a big black box of mystery to even honestly the most educated people on this subject. And what else? Did you mention anything else in there?
Yeah, give the power back to the customer, which is mandatory.
I heard that the biggest thing I heard out of that is the independent of a customer and your product adding value to them by creating something simple that they absolutely have to have, that they can't make themselves either.
So if you had a crystal ball and you were to say there's one fundamental technology to drive these kinds of simplicity, this ease of use, what do you think that technology is going to be? Is it going to be a couple technologies converging together, or one singular one finally becoming robust enough to work? Or what do you think?
It's going to be a mix of many different things. So first of all, make it easier to connect. There is a big need for standard interfaces. Why the bloody hell does not all the CNC machines have a standard interface? Why the bloody hell does not all robot manufacturers have the same standard interface? So if you want to automate your CNC machine, there's a plug and go for it. We can do it with injection molding. Why not with CNC turning and milling machines?
Sure. Yeah, Euromap is a very big standard for injection molding.
Yes, could be pretty cool for CNC turning and milling machines as well, and would enable a big market. In regards of technology in total, I guess AI is a big thing. Surprise, surprise.
It's also poorly defined though. So what does that really mean?
Yes, I agree on it. It's a brand new topic. It's a naked topic, and there are many different things out there. The beauty of AI in total is that if the system understood something, if it learned something, it can adapt easily on its own. So, for example, if you have a bin picking solution driven by AI, there is no need to teach in the parts. If the system understood once, this is a part and this is how I grab it, it will automatically grab whenever, whatever is inside the box, no matter what is the size, no matter what's the color, no matter what it is, it will understand it, have learned it. So this will make things easier, way more easier. And if you then connect the dots, so for example, you have an arm, you have a gripper, you have a vision system, you have a CNC machine, you have all the things, and if you connect the dots easily without any friction in regards of the interface, your life is going to be beautiful. And then you have the power at the customer side, because he can easily choose and easily change. There is no need to be at this component, or there's no need to be at that component, because then at the end of the day, you need to sell through values, through real values, and this will help the whole development. Because if the development cycle is driven by values, at the end of the day, everyone will get a better product, because
Yeah.
this is the unique selling point is technological driven and make everything strong. And that's something I highly believe.
So
It's
what if
almost
you're
as if you need a universal interface between everything.
well, so I think when you
That was a horrible joke.
well, I think like so one I agree with you, and I don't want to, you know, come conflict, but I want to combat you on a couple of things from a so when I look at it, what you're saying is kind of a perfect world scenario for the end customer. But when I look at it, the manufacturers of all those products, there's lots of competition, right? There's many robot companies. There's a lot of accessory products that add a lot of value to the robot companies. And when I'm sure that this is why, you know, for instance, in the CNC world, that they're different versus, and somehow the injection mold world has, you know, figured it out to a certain, you know, sentence with Euromap. But you know, you look at Ross and you see a lot of people use Ross for robots, and you see universities use it. You see some manufacturers want to use it. You see some OEMs maybe that are building with a robot as a centerpiece to their product wanting to use it, but that there's some challenges because a lot of manufacturers of robots are resistant to Ross because it takes away the value that their product puts on the table from a software standpoint. It makes the product really only mechanically valuable, or you know, it pulls away from the value that a lot of them bring with their software.
Of things, yeah.
So it decreases their value prop as a company. So for them to want to standardize or to accept the standardize and not want to create their own standard becomes a problem. So I see this sort of butting heads where the customer, you know, certainly wants this universally used USB, you know, version of everything being, you know, plugged the same way. But the manufacturers don't want that because they don't want to lose their value as they have as a product. So can you talk a little bit about how what you see as those kind of coming to a head over, you know, next 10 years, 5 years?
Yeah, and how does the customer win?
So at the end of the day, it's a development cycle, and we have seen this development cycle at many different products. We've started as pretty cool and pretty fancy at the beginning with mobile devices, with computers, with all the topics, and at some point a standard will win. So you see it with the charging cable. So almost every mobile, except from one mobile, using the same charging cable. So it was a minor step, but a big step in this direction. And you can already see it, for example, with ecosystems around robot manufacturers. First of all, of course, UR Plus, where you have, I guess, 4,000 is the official number, maybe more, meanwhile, developers in one developer community working common together on one topic to bring in the next evolution, to bring in the next, to solve topics common together. And that's pretty cool. And I guess we will see way more of this relationship, of these partnerships. And I guess we will see way more of this, let's call it technical alliance between companies to reduce the friction. So, because it's a big benefit for the company as well. So imagine you have a cool product, and you imagine your cool product works at the very best with whatever, a milling machine. It's a logical consequence that at a certain point, the producer of the milling machine and the producer of the robot will sit on the same table, talk about it as standard, and go for it. And then it's the first step in the right direction. It's the first step of evolution. This is something I already can see quite often. And yeah, like I mentioned, it's a logical consequence.
Mm-hmm. The market will drive it. People ultimately will use their wallets and purchase the solutions that are best in that regard.
So if you are the proud owner of a small turning and milling company out there, and you have 5 different ways how to automate your machine, yeah, of course you will choose the version which creates the biggest value, the best benefit for you. So it should be flexible, it should be easy to use, it should be adjustable, and this is it. And if therefore 2 integrators come across and the one says to you, okay, I have a super fancy customized solution, works only in this case, only with this robot, and if you want to change something, please give me a call because I need to change it. And the other one tells you, hey, there's a universal tool. You can work on this machine as well as on this machine. There's one plug, there's one interface. Go for it. Easy question. And therefore, it's a logical consequence that the easy solution will win over time. Will take some time, will take some development. We need to reduce some barriers, but at the end of the day, the easy solution will win.
Question for you. Are you tackling any of these problems right now at your current employer with Robominds? Are you working on anything like this?
It is the
Are you
biggest
allowed to talk
challenge.
about it?
It is the biggest challenge to do exactly something like that, because especially at Robominds, we are one piece of a big puzzle. We do not have a robot arm. We do not have a gripper. We do not have so many things. Yeah, we have eyes. We have eyes and knowledge. Or we have a brain and brain power. Let's call it this way around. We can use an AGV. We can use an universal robots. But once more, we are just one piece of a big puzzle. Of course, we are talking to a lot of manufacturers to reduce the barriers. So yes, of course, first thing we started our tech alliance with gripper manufacturers. Why gripper manufacturers? First of all, it's not our main business. So yes, we have some knowledge about, but we have not on the same page like a company with 500 employees, which does the same topic for 30 years, for 40 years. They're way ahead. So I rather use their knowledge. We're coming together and support them, and they support me. Next topic is we are pretty sticky to a robot manufacturer. I guess you know the brand, Universal Robots. Of course, we work super close together with them. And of course, we try to reduce the barriers over there as well. Mm-hmm. And we have some products in pipeline. So for example, there's a cool storage system out there called FEMAT. And of course, we're working at the moment to reduce the barriers over there as well, to create a common interface. Because I highly believe in the topic, reducing barriers, make things easier, and be successful through this approach.
Very good.
So what
last company you mentioned, can you just expand on that a little bit? It's a storage company?
Yes, sir. It's a company called FEMAT out of Denmark, and they have a pretty unique and pretty smart way how to create a storage tower.
Very good. Yeah, I think it's very interesting the way that these technologies come together. I agree. I think standardization is going to be one of the major topics going forward. And for anyone who's kind of questioning or maybe was Googling on the side what ROS is, when Zach mentioned that earlier, ROS is essentially a middleware, as they call it, or an operating system for robots. You can think of it. And it kind of was born in academia, and its purpose is to make all robots kind of run off a similar system. And that is able to work to varying degrees, depending on how much each robot manufacturer kind of wants to support it or is able to support it.
Also given back to the community for free too. The inventor or inventors of it.
Very open source.
Made it open. So pretty cool. So what's next for Christian Fenk?
What's next for me?
What's next for you?
On my personal path. That's pretty easy as well. So now I become part of a company called Robominds. I'm super proud of. It is at the moment a small team, so we have less manpower but a lot of brain power. And the main goal for me is in the next years to I do not want to call it to build up the company, because it's not me making this job. It's the team, to be part of a successful team and build up together a beautiful company and a beautiful product which has the chance or the possibility to change the market. That's something. It is a unique challenge. It is a unique challenge and a unique situation. I guess it is this once in a lifetime chance to join a company at that stage with a product like that.
Yeah.
And guess what? This was one of the reasons I decided to leave a company called Universal Robots and join this company, because I really believe this is a once in a life chance. And yeah, I'm super proud to become now part of the journey of this company and try to do my very best to make it successful.
I have one question for you, and we might be going over time, but I have to ask it. We ask a lot of times people in your position. So you're the VP of sales, right, or the chief sales officer? Is that your title, Christian?
Yes, sir.
So coming into a company like RoboBrains, what we like to ask people is what kind of metrics they use to understand the health of their business. And it's very easy to ask people this question and have them answer, I look at sales, I look at the pipeline, I look at the conversion rates, and I look at closing and the money coming in the door, all that stuff. And I'm sure as a chief sales officer, you'd be inclined to look at those numbers as well. But when you're trying to find out and measure the success or the health of your business, what kind of non-trivial metrics would you use in order to get a sense for that?
So mandatory topic, and Chris, you know me very well. I'm not into titles, so I'm just part of a team and just part of a company. First topic, mandatory topic.
Love that.
Another topic, and that's important, and that is really important. First of all, understand the customer needs. You can measure everything. You can even measure the color of your typical customer, which the color of the underwear of a typical customer. If you do not use the data, it's worthless. So first of all, understand the customer needs, and therefore you need first of all understand your own product. What is your core product? It is created for, what is the task? Why do we create this product? And then think about is who could use this product. And if you got this knowledge, then think about your customer base, and then think about how could you address this customer base? Where do you find this sort of customer? And if you know this as well, yeah, then act, then address these customers, get in touch with them, and then first of all, work. It is not fancy, it is shitty, it hurts, but work your ass off. If you give 10 people a call, you have 10 times the chance to sell something. If you make it only once, yeah, guess what? Surprise, surprise, you have only one chance to sell something. Of course, sales is always a little gambling. There's always a little luck inside. But at the end of the day, every time you pick up your phone, you write an email, you're rolling the dice. Yep. If it's a high number, there's a big chance to sell something. If it's a low number, there's a low chance to sell something. So if you roll the dice more often, guess what? You will sell more often. And that's easy. So it is hard. It is creating a knowledge base, not about the facts of your customers. I don't care about the color of the underwear of my customers. I want to understand what they have in mind and what they're searching for. If I got this, then match it with my product. Does my product solve a topic? And if I have this match, then work your ass off, and then usually become successful. And that's exactly what we do at the moment at Robominds. So we really did our homework. We really understood what is our product, who should use it, who should rather not use it. And with this data, yeah, we just do it. We work.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I think we're both excited for you, and we're rooting for you, and we want to help any way we can. I have one more question for you. When you've talked a lot about focus today in different ways, when you wake up in the morning, what are the 2 or 3 things that you're focused on that you try and boil it down to make yourself successful?
2 or 3 things.
One,
let me think.
Fine.
One thing.
No.
3 things not focused.
10 things. No. It is first of all the colleagues. The first thing I do every morning is ask the colleagues, are you okay? Is everything fine? What is your task? Can I support you? That's the mandatory topic. That's the first thing I do every morning. I started this topic at UR when I become responsible for a team, and it was successful.
That's good advice.
I do it now right away. Now, because then you get early in the morning all the problems on your plate, on your table. Then you get an honest feedback every morning, and it showcase not value driven through, oh, you did a great job. It showcase that you're interested in. So first of all, ask each and everyone who is online, hey, how are you? What is the plan for the day? Any issues? How can I support you? That's the main topic. Then of course I focus on a lead list. Guess what? I'm working in sales, so there's always a budget. There's always leads. I focus on these topics. Where can I change something? Where can I move the needle? Where can I drive sales in the right direction? And the last topic out of the 3 is always marketing oriented, because marketing is the driver of new leads. Leads is the gasoline, the fuel of the sales engine. So you rather have always enough gasoline in your tank So the next focus topic is always marketing related. And due to the fact of the situation we have out there at the moment, things have changed as well.
Yeah.
So there are no fairs, there are no events, there's nothing like that. So you need to be, you need to find your own way how to create leads. Therefore, social media platforms
Makes
are,
sense why you're so big on SMART as well, and
Yes,
making
sir.
sure that your image and what you're promoting is, all in unison, so that you are able to deliver the brand that you want and also deliver, why you wake up every day for your customers, and the what you're doing and how you plan on going about it. So I think that makes a lot of sense, that marketing is one of your key focuses as well.
Yes,
I
of
got one
course.
more question for you, Christian. When you're done, sorry, if you want to finish your thought.
Another mandatory topic I want to add in this new days, it was a game changer. So a mandatory topic is nowadays it's on a traditional fair. Usually the company with the biggest booth created the biggest attention. On social media, everyone got the same size of posting, got the same size of video. So you rather make cool content. You rather be fast, you rather be flexible. If there's a trend out there, react fast, create cool videos, do something fresh, do something new. And that's something which helps small companies quite a lot.
Speed.
If they're willing to do something.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good news. So
What do you
Mr.
say to
Savoy,
people
sorry.
that fear overdoing the content they produce? Because I mean, we even have it. Chris and I have it trying to promote our podcast. So what do you say to people that say, "Well, I can't post"? Like, is there such thing as posting too much?
Yes, yes and no. So so at the very best, it would be annoying if you guys share the content of this podcast, for example, 5 times a day, the same content. Would be strange. If you build up a network, and congratulations, that's exactly what you're doing at the moment, and the network share the content again and again and again. At the end of the day, it's the same result, but you will have a way bigger reach, and it will change the mindset of people which have seen the content, because they will see the posting once from you, they will see it once from Mr. Savoy, and they will see once from me. And if they see it the 4th time from someone else or the 5th time from someone else, there will be a trigger. They think, okay, now I've seen this logo, this content, this topic 5 times in a row. Now I get curious. Let's click on it. And then, of course, content wins. If you have cool content, so at the very best, if this dialogue is attractive to people, they will stay and will.
So there's no limit to authentic new content. If you're delivering new authentic content, there's no limit to overdoing it.
I would not call it no limit, but there's almost no limit. Let's call it
almost no limit. Of course, if it was maybe every single day or multiple times a day, that might be too much. But if it were a couple of times a week, I think some people, a lot of the companies we work with, a lot of our partners, post once every couple of weeks, once a month. And I would say that that's probably not enough, considering what you could be going after.
Yeah.
So from my experience, it was always something between twice a week, maximum twice a week.
Cool. Chris, I'll let you go. I know you have more questions.
So I know Christian Fenk to be, he loves traveling. He loves going to meet people. He loves shaking hands, being in person, having a beer with you after a day of work and everything like that. And I've been struggling with this question myself a lot, so I want to hear your opinion. When things get better, whatever happens, however things get better, what is going to be the first place that you travel to? And
Denmark.
To Denmark.
Denmark, Odense. Yes, of course. I miss the colleagues. I miss the town. There are so many things I miss. There are so many great memories, and there are so many partner companies in Denmark. It's obvious it's going to be Denmark. But there's no doubt. First, the moment I can go across the border, Denmark.
Wow,
I love it.
I
love it. You knew it right away. No hesitation. Sounds like I should think about the same.
So yeah.
Cool. Christian, it's been a wonderful time talking to you today. We covered a bunch of topics, your history, your origins, what you're doing at RoboBrains, RoboMinds.
I guess I made it easy for you, my friend.
We're going to cut that one. Christian, thank you for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you. We covered so many different topics. We covered your origin stories, the fact that you and Zach have won President's Club at the same time, shared some stories when you and I worked together in the UR Plus team, and of course, covering, your new adventure at Robominds now as well. So we really appreciate your time today. And I think we should look forward to having you on again in a few months once we, get some more of these done. You think
Yeah.
Would be a great
I
pleasure.
talked to Fabian about coming on at some point too. It'd be funny to have you guys on together, even as he and I chatted the other day. It seems like things are going well for him, and I think he took your old role from a few years ago as you moved into the UR Plus role. So he's kind of doing the work that you used to do. So it's a cool story. But yeah, thank you. Thanks coming on. Great to see your face. Been too long since we've been able to have a beer together, so it was good to do it virtually at least. I know it's almost, it's basically midnight there, so we'll let you get winding down for bed, and just thank you so much.
Really appreciate it. Have a nice time. See you soon.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Good night. Bye-bye.